Welcome guys to the beautiful madness of the Warhammer universe as Capt Tellus shall be leading the mighty Tomb Kings up against the formidable foe of Ronin. Should be a good fun game. Tomb Kings up against High Elves. It's been an old school grudge match for quite some time now. A rather interesting matchup in my humble dark opinion. So let's hop in here and see how the lads did indeed get on. For Capt Tellus's Tomb Kings, we do have some skirmish cav up front in the form of skeleton horse archers. Can be able to bob and weave their way through the High Elf formations and poke at those nice, juicy, expensive targets. In the front line, we have skeleton spearmen mixed in with some warriors as well. Okay, we've got a mid-tier infantry front line for the Tomb Kings, which is pretty interesting, considering normally it is just wave after wave of chaff. But no, we've got a little bit of bite to our buck today from the forces of the Tomb Kings. We have some skeleton spearmen in the back, so helped out by some of the sneakiest of all the snakes in the realm. Anti-large Vanguard deploy, Stalk, these guys really can do it all. And there's some fantastic models as well. I must admit, the Regiment Renown do look a little bit cooler, but still, despite that, with the halberds, they look a formidable group of warriors. We do have double Tomb Prints, one on foot and one on horseback, and their main job today is to babysit Arkan the Black. He is very, very squishy, but Spirit Leech spam with him can be incredibly powerful, and that's just the poison of choice he has brought to the battlefield to date. We have two Shopty Great Bows, very good up against the High Elves due to the fact that High Elves for the most part are expensive and squishy, meaning lots of long range pressure on them can be really quite good. You do have to be a bit careful though, there are some nasty High Elf builds out there which include kind of Spirit Leech, Fireball as well as Bolt Throwers, and they really counter Shopty quite nicely. But none of those artillery pieces for Ronin today, no sirree. Instead, we actually have double Shadow Warriors leading the front line. And I've seen Shadow Warriors picked more and more in the competitive scene. People are really kind of starting to utilize them quite well. And they look mean, they look angry, and they're here for war. Loads of Rangers dotted through the front line, backed up by some White Lions. I really do like the White Lions as well. There's some very scary warriors nowadays. We have Silver Helms, as well as Illyrian Reavers. Look like double Silver Helms? No, triple Silver Helms and Illyrian Reavers. This is really quite interesting. You never really get to see Silver Helms that much. They're very mid-tier cavalry. Do some nice damage on the shock charge though, anti-infantry and all that good stuff. No Dragon Princes unfortunately today, but we do have a mage on horseback looking rather regal in her red cloak there on the back of a mighty steed, coming in with Burning Head of course and Fireball, two absolute staples up against the Tomb Kings. But leading the battle charge, we have Imrik the Dragon Prince. Look at this steed. Imrik, I think a lot of people do consider him a bit of a meme, but I really do not think he's actually a bad lord whatsoever when you don't bring him on his dragon. And horseback probably is the best way to bring him to the battlefield. Gives him mobility, and he'll take down some of those nasty constructs for you. But the reason I think Imrik isn't as bad as people say is that the Dragon Horn's very good, but the Lord of Dragons is amazing. Amazing. Minus 40 melee attack and 24 melee defense for 22 seconds is so good, particularly when you realize you can cast this on units, you can cast it on monsters, on characters, whatever you want. It means it can be quite useful in the right situation. Without any more discussion of the builds, let's get this battle underway. So Shopty are trading fire at the moment with the Shadow Warriors. Shadow Warriors do like a little bit of punch though, compared to something like Way Watchers, so they won't do the most damage to the Shopty, but still, shooting into the Warriors in the front will get them some good work done. Big Fat Fireball is attempted to be duped by Arkan the Black, but he does eat it straight to his skull face, and that is a really good way of getting rid of Arkan. He is very squishy. The Rangers will meet the Warriors in glorious hand-to-hand combat. Both these guys dual-wielding screw shields. Who needs to protect your body, particularly when you're already dead, I suppose. It makes a bit more sense for them than it does for the Rangers. A lovely Dragon Horn usage, though, does mean these Rangers' melee attack is up to 55 right now. They're easily going to chew through the Warriors, who unfortunately find themselves in a rather sticky situation. Shadow Warriors are continuing to poke and try to really finish off the Shopty, but they're taking basically no damage from this, and instead their shots are coming in trying to take down that Mage of Fire, who is rising above the crest here to move into hand-to-hand combat, which seems a little bit risky to me. Down on the low ground, Imrik is chasing down Arkan the Black. Lord of Dragons has been popped, but likewise the Liber Mortis has come into play, and this looks like it was actually a bit of a trap. Spirit Leech Imrik and then come in with the Tomb Prince. Nice little 2-for-1 punch, but the Silver Helm's going to countercharge there to try to save their Liege Lord and force back the mighty Arkan the Black. In the back line, some Skeleton Horse Archers are desperately trying to hop on top of those Shadow Warriors. But good little bit of play here. Just move the Silver Helms out. No, 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 not today. You're not hopping on my lovely little skirmish troops who actually rain shots at the Horse Archers as a bit of a metaphorical middle finger as they do retreat back there. Ark and the Black, though, does sometimes become a bit of a sticky character. It looks like the Silver Helms have been overwhelmed by the double Tomb Prince right now, and Imrik isn't looking too good, particularly this Ushopti summon could appear right on him. The Tomb Prince is trying to hound him down with a Spirit Leech combo. The High Elf player really needs to get him out of it as quickly as possible, because if he gets pinned in with those Ushopti, he's a dead meat for sure. Tomb Prince doing some lovely work on Imrik right now. It looks like he is just about going to be able to escape, though Shadow Warriors also applying a bit of fire to try to save him. In the front line, Rangers are doing a fantastic job, really pushing their way through the Tomb King force, and you can see the Ushopti are starting to be overrun. Real good play by Captus on this left-hand side, though, to win that side of the battle and protect at least one of the Ushopti, but White Lions, Rangers, they're all in the danger zone now, and that's not boding too well for the Tomb Kings, at least on that front, particularly if this Tomb Prince being bogged down by Silver Helms and then obliterated by Shadow Warriors. I really do think people should pick Shadow Warriors far more than they do. They are such a good utility unit, kind of the old knockoff Waywatcher style of approach, and this Tomb Prince is going to be crumbling into dust as he attempts to ride back to the Silver Helms here to try and get in one or two more licks before he does unfortunately bite the dust. Second unit of Ushopti does seem to be under quite a lot of pressure. Rangers are pushing forward. We do have the Snakes here to support, but they may want to save some of their ammunition to take down the Silver Helms, who are running rampant at the moment. Tomb Prince luckily is saved by a rather unfortunate Silver Helm, who does take a massive fireball to the face from that major fire. Maybe has a score to settle. Imrik blows the horn in the deep one more time and charges in to meet the Tomb Prince. Lord of the Dragons has been popped down on him. He should be able to do a pretty decent job of dispatching the Tomb Prince himself. I don't think Imrik's got much damage value today, but his Dragon Horn as well as those Lord of Dragons debuffs have actually been used to quite good effectiveness here, despite how much he does in combat. But he's actually getting down and dirty with that Tomb Prince right now. Going to be a good job for him to finish those guys off. Balance of power is in favour of the High Elf forces at the moment. A lot of the Rangers and Silver Helms are being forced back, and Ark on the Black is in a long spirit walk right now, going out to hunt down these Rangers to try to save the Ushopti Great Bows, who will probably turn and face this once Arkan does indeed catch up. But is saving the Ushopti the key priority right now? I mean, they could be used to deadly effect on the Illyrian Reavers. There is still a decent amount of Rangers left, though, and the Shadow Warriors still have a tiny bit of ammunition. This unit of Ushopti, once again, is running. The Stalkers are desperately coming over here to try to support, and they have managed to catch up. Those halberds are being twirled and whirled in arcs of death as the Reavers are unfortunately forced back there. But there's still a decent amount of Rangers left for the High Elves. It's not often you see the High Elves win the ground fight, the infantry fight, but they have done today. Tomb Prince is in an epic showdown with Imrik here, the Dragon Prince, and it turns out Dragon is better than the Tomb, and he does reign supreme, although a few shots are coming over, pelting Imrik there with the Ushopti, and he might actually go down to just 1,000 hit points, and he's going to be eating a Spirit Leech. It was an overcast one. It looks like Arkan may have actually miscast over there, which could be quite problematic. Imrik taking an absolute pounding so far, and those sneaky snakes won't go down without a fight, but the simple waves of Rangers and White Lines could start to cause problems. But the Tomb Kings have saved the Ushopti Great Bows in the back there, and they can come back into the fray or just shoot at the Silver Helms from range. It could become a bit of a game of chicken. Will the Silver Helms be able to reach the Ushopti and defeat them before they break themselves? Looks like they don't want to find out. The chicken has been called, and they actually do start to fall back, but they are taking some pretty big pounding shots right there. Ushopti are still in combat. Lord of Dragons, though, has been popped on them, neutering them basically pointless in this combat fight. And in fact, even worse, the Silver Helms are really charging them down now. That alone, their melee defense takes it down to 12, a melee attack of 0. Imrik, though, does bite yet another Spirit Leech. That really is why you bring Ark on the Black to the battlefield. And Imrik falls from his horse like Alexander the Great there. He says he never lost a battle. Well, he lost a battle with death. The Stalkers do seem to be in a pretty precarious situation right now of Rangers and the White Lions using those blades and mighty axes to heft and slash down on the Stalkers, and though the balance of power says it is dead even at the moment, I don't buy it whatsoever. Though Ark the Black is still alive, as well as the Ushopti, they have very limited good targets left, and they do not have much ammunition whatsoever. Can Ark the Black prove me wrong? I was proven wrong in my last replay with those Wildwood Rangers making me eat my own words. Can Arkan do it yet again to a duck? The Ushopti Grey Bows are now shooting into the Shadow Warriors as they see their doom approaching, and they're going to get some good kills. I mean, they're up to 57 kills on this unit, the other one 42, and they're going to charge headlong into some Rangers looking to break them before fleeing once more from the Shadow Warriors. The Shadow Warriors do turn to engage Ark on the Black, Ushopti probably want to just stay fine at the moment. I mean, moving into combat wouldn't be the worst idea to support Archon. Those shots do rain in, doing some good damage to the Shadow Warriors. It does seem like the Silver Helms are not interested in the Dark Lord himself, and instead are going to be used to drive back the Ushopti, but they actually break before it happens, once again failing that game of chicken. Archon surrounded, 45 kills, done a good job hunting down Imrik, but is it enough? I don't think so. Balance power is so close to army losses right now. Ushopti get some lovely shots in, though. That could be enough to break a lot of these high elf forces right now. You can see the Shadow Warriors not having a good day. Spurleach does come in. Archon desperately clinging on to life once more. Shadow Warriors do beat Ushopti, though, carving them to pieces. And a lovely little summon, though, in the back pocket of these Skeleton Warriors, but unfortunately used a tiny tad too late. Though the Shadow Warriors ran for their lives, Archon the Black crumbles into dust and back to the sands, which spawned him into the realm. A valiant defeat indeed by the force of the Tomb Kings. That was an excellent game, and we may be getting some more games from these guys. They actually got 3 replays in. It was a best of 3, and it went straight down to the wire. Every game looking absolutely fantastic. So, Captellus and Ronin, hold your heads proud, lads. You both put on a fantastic showing today, but the Shadow Warriors in particular, I think, performed really well here, and the High Elves, Imrik, though he died, does return to his ancestors, a warrior god, victorious. Well played to both the champs. I will go through the damage dealt and damage value of all of these units in just a second. Very excited to see how they got on. Archon the Black seem to perform really well here, but before we get to that, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to drop a big fat thumbs up. It really does help support the channel. Likewise, so does subscribing. Not only does it help you guys see my content, it helps the channel grow, and we can beat the crap out of that YouTube algorithm until it starts to see the light and realizes ducks are the answer and puts us on the front page of every YouTube channel or YouTube video in the realms. There are links down below in the description if you would like to support the channel via Patreon, or if you would like to join my Discord, you can do both of that down there. On the Discord, you can submit replays, just like Captellus did here today, get involved in events and tournaments I host, and all that good stuff. Comment down below as well what you thought of the game. What do you think of Shadow Warriors? What do you think of Imrik? Can he be competitive? Do you think he's terrible and that I'm just lying? What do you think? I mean, I'd really like to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. I really do indeed enjoy reading through the comments. So, let's look at what happened, basically. Archon the Black, 50 kills, not too shabby, 2k damage value. Did a good job, really, just neutering the effectiveness of Imrik. Although, despite that, Imrik, I don't think he's going to get much damage value today, but he really did do some lovely uses of his abilities. That's kind of the main draw to him and why you bring him. Tomb Princes unfortunately got dumpstered. 167 damage value on this unit, the other one at 745. Trying to go toe-to-toe with Imrik does not normally tend to end well for those who go up against him. Skeleton Spearmen, as well as the Warriors in the front line, really did struggle, of course, just outmatched by the Rangers. But the use of that Dragon Horn, increasing that melee attack by 24, meant these guys really did unfortunately get dumpstered. Horsemen did a not too much better, actually. I'm very surprised they didn't perform too well. I guess it was the Shadow Warriors forcing them off, and the Silver Helms eventually catching them, which really did drag them down. But units which performed really well, the Ushopti, 1.3 damage value and 1.1 on the 2 units, 44 and 69 kills from the Bone Boys themselves, doing a really good job. The Stalkers as well, 1,050 damage value, over 100 kills. Those guys, as well as Archon the Black, really nearly carried the Tomb Kings to victory, but the High Elves were too much. Imrik, the Dragon Prince, the mighty warrior, only a measly 503 damage value, which, okay, admittedly isn't great, which kind of, counteracts my point of him being really good. Well, not really good, but usable, which a lot of people don't seem to believe. But the Lord of Dragons debuffs, so powerful. The horn as well. It makes a lovely sound as well as it charges in the Vuvuzela, kind of South African World Cup, Football World Cup. I was about to say Fantasy World Cup, doesn't make any sense. I don't know if you guys remember that, or if you're too young to remember such an event. But yeah, it does remind me of the Vuvuzelas. Major Fire, not doing too much today. I mean, doing some good fireballs on Archon. Didn't really see too many burning heads in play, and unfortunately also shooting her own troops. It really was down to the nitty and gritty troops to seal the deal. Look at these kills on the Rangers. 148, 139, 52, 82 and 84 kills across the board. Now the damage value is going to be pretty, average. Some mid 600s though, 500, 400. It's not terrible. White Lines 1.2 damage value and 278, so it looks like those two different companies of White Lines had very different stories to tell. Shadow Warriors performed really well, 1,000 damage value on this one, 1,228, and yeah, you guys need to be bringing Shadow Warriors more than you are High Elf players, as they seem to be a little bit forgotten sometimes, but again, in tournaments recently, I've been seeing a lot of them, but any of you guys playing quick battles, this is a good example of why Shadow Warriors are very useful, because the enemy can't shoot them at range because they're invisible, and then they come in and dish out the damage. 940 damage value on the Lilian Reavers. Cavalry all round performed pretty mediocre. I mean, 450, 460, and 755 damage value isn't garbage, but not fantastic either. But just in the end, Ronin sealing victory. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Until next time, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.